The headlines are flooded with stories about Trump and Musk. But behind the media frenzy lies a deeper conflict, not just political, but existential for the empire known as the United States. Elon Musk was appointed to lead government efficiency, a mission to streamline bureaucracy, reduce spending, and save the American budget from collapse. But standing in direct opposition is Donald Trump, with tax cuts, increased military expenditures, and a growth-at-any-cost approach powered by debt. One wants to tighten the belt, the other wants to spend freely, and America now walks a dangerous tightrope between them. Let's take a step back into history. Rome, the most advanced civilization of its time, pre-revolutionary France, the Spanish and Ottoman empires, and Germany's Weimar Republic. None collapsed initially due to war. They collapsed due to financial mismanagement. Rome once thrived on trade, innovation, and a strong currency. But as its empire expanded and spending exploded, they devalued their own currency to fund wars and bureaucracies. Silver coins, once nearly pure, were gradually diluted with copper. The denarius fell from 95% silver content to just 0.5%. Inflation soared to over 1,000% by 265 AD. Money became worthless. Citizens abandoned cities. Barter returned. Sound familiar? Perhaps too familiar. The United States was once the gold standard of efficiency, innovation, and monetary discipline. But today, trillion-dollar deficits have become normalized, and the signs are flashing red. Consider the parallels. Massive money printing after crises. Artificially suppressed interest rates. Exploding entitlement and military spending. A dollar losing purchasing power. Asset markets increasingly detached from fundamentals. Americans are beginning to lose faith in the dollar. Gold, Bitcoin, and real estate are replacing fiat in their minds as the new real money. Elon Musk is trying to fix a system designed not to be fixed. He is no emperor, and every reform dies in the halls of Congress before it sees daylight. Trump represents populism, Musk represents efficiency, but ironically, both men, despite their clash, are accelerating the same runaway train, the American empire in fiscal decline. Athens collapsed. So did Rome. The only question is, will we learn from history or repeat it? Empires don't fall overnight. They fall gradually through every trillion-dollar deficit, every round of money printing, and every short-term policy designed to win votes instead of building a future. When a government can't balance its books, it has two options: borrow or print. Rome printed, America borrows. In both cases, the result is the same: inflation. And the burden? It falls on those who lose faith in the system. The Ottoman Empire followed a similar script. To pay their soldiers, they outsourced tax collection to tax farmers. But with weak property rights, these farmers exploited the land for quick profits, not long-term productivity. Eventually, 60% of revenues were diverted to foreign creditors. The debt spiral ended in default and economic decay. Reform? Impossible. Entrenched interests block change. The lesson? When institutions can't adapt, debt becomes their destiny. All empires rot from within before they collapse. Take Spain. Under mercantilism, they discovered silver in the New World and assumed it would last forever. They borrowed massively. But inflation soared, industries crumbled, the economy hollowed out, and when the silver stopped flowing, the empire collapsed. It was the resource curse in action, something we still see today. Easy money from mines or modern bond markets gives leaders a false sense of wealth. They spend freely without creating real productivity. But eventually the bill comes due. Investors are now dumping bonds, demanding their money back because they no longer believe. France before 1789, a ticking financial time bomb. The nobility paid no taxes, peasants bore everything, endless wars, reforms blocked, so the monarchy borrowed and borrowed until it defaulted. And what came next? Revolution. Unreformed debt always leads to collapse. Look at Weimar Germany. Crushed by post-World War I reparations, the government resorted to printing money just to survive. By 1923, it took 1 trillion marks to buy a single dollar. People starved, extremists rose, democracy died. So what about the United States? In 2025, federal debt has surpassed $36.9 trillion, and the CBO projects it to hit 156% of GDP by 2055. This isn't wartime borrowing, it's structural overspending, driven by entitlements, interest costs, and a total lack of long-term planning. Interest alone is now over $1 trillion, and by 2027 it will exceed even the U.S. defense budget. The Ferguson Law. Great powers fall when they spend more on debt than on defense. That's the Ferguson Law. Why can't Elon Musk and the Government Efficiency Task Force, call it the Doge Department, fix it? Because America's political system won't allow it. Corruption runs deep. Just look at healthcare. Some recipients are still drawing benefits at age 200, according to records. Both parties chase short-term wins over long-term reforms. Tax cuts are designed to expire, so they don't have to show the real cost. Serious financial reform? It dies before reaching a vote. What about inflation? It's not Weimar, but it's still dangerous. Post-COVID spikes may have slowed, but inflation hasn't vanished. Tariffs could make things worse. Consumer expectations are rising, an early sign of persistent price pressure. You might hear PhDs and economists say, America isn't like other fallen empires. They cite tools like an independent central bank, a dominant global reserve currency, a resilient private sector, a history of bouncing back, often by selling weapons after stoking conflict abroad. America is not Rome, but I see the same mistakes. America's fate is not sealed, but it is under threat. Out-of-control spending, political gridlock. Surging interest costs. History warns us, collapse rarely happens suddenly. It happens gradually, then all at once. If Trump or anyone wants to prevent it, reforms must start now. That means structural fiscal fixes, including taxes and defense cuts, protecting the Fed's independence. Facing harsh truths, not political illusions, because if America waits too long, there won't be a soft landing. There will be a hard crash, and history won't be kind. Right now, the world is closer to World War III than at any time since 1962, Cuban Missile Crisis, and most people, they have no idea what's really happening. Here's what I see in 2025. While you and I are going to bed this Friday night, June 6th, 2025, wars in Ukraine, the Middle East, and tensions between the US and China are reshaping this world forever. This is not coincidence. This is the birth of a new world order. Ukraine, 3 years of war, and Putin is still there, continuing the fight. February 2025 marks the third anniversary of this proxy conflict that has reshaped Europe forever. The West is exhausted by inflation. Russia has adapted. The Middle East. This region is on fire. Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria, where Assad's regime has collapsed, every movement affects the price of oil that you and I pay at the pump. The lifeblood of the global economy now runs through their wars. China versus the United States, a silent war shaping the future of the world. Trump seeks to reduce China's geopolitical influence as China advances in technology, trade, and alliances. Whoever wins will dominate the next 50 years. Trump's return signals a renewed obsession with territory and tariffs. His comeback only adds unpredictability to an already fragile world. Greenland, the Panama Canal, rising tariffs. It's not a whim, it's imperial strategy. Let's face it, most experts got it wrong. In 2022, they said Putin would never dare invade Ukraine. They claimed Israel wouldn't expand by seizing Gaza or slaughtering Palestinians, that China wouldn't dare confront the US, that the Assad regime in Syria wouldn't fall. Very few international institutions could foresee what we are now witnessing. So what's next? 1. Europe, the losing continent. As Russia pushes from the east, Trump demands payments, China buys ports, and immigration waves crash the borders. Europe is disintegrating while pretending to stay united. 2. Latin America. the contested backyard. Trump returns with an aggressive foreign policy in Latin America. China invests, Russia sells oil, the US threatens. This is the new battleground of influence. 3. The fight for energy and territory. Whoever controls oil, gas, and critical minerals controls the world. That's why Russia, after toppling the fascist Zelensky regime, seeks Ukraine's resource-rich territories. That's why China wants Taiwan. That's why Trump wants Greenland. It's all about energy and land. Supply chains are shattered. Securing them is harder than ever as globalization falters. Each nation now seeks autonomy. Each bloc seeks independence. Technology, the new battlefield, semiconductors, AI, 5G, cybersecurity. China builds the hardware, the US controls the software, and Europe, the aging continent, wants to regulate it all. Who will win in the end? The old alliances are falling apart. NATO is fractured over Ukraine. The EU is divided on energy. BRICS is expanding out of control. The G7 is losing influence. The multipolar world is here. India, the strategic winner. Playing both sides, India buys cheap oil from Russia thanks to BRICS membership, resells it to the West, and profits handsomely. It appeases the West while resisting Chinese leadership. India isn't choosing sides, it's playing the long game. While China and the United States clash, India is quietly profiting. By leveraging its BRICS membership, India buys cheap oil from Russia and resells it to the West at a profit, maintaining good ties with Western powers while subtly opposing China's leadership role in the bloc. Africa is emerging as the world's most contested frontier. With a population of 1.4 billion, youngest on the planet, and vast natural resources like lithium, cobalt, gold, and oil, the continent is a geopolitical prize. China and Russia are building cities and supply chains to secure influence. Europe, particularly France, is losing ground despite offering aid packages. And the US? It arrived too late. GEO economics. Everything is interconnected. The war in Ukraine has driven wheat prices up. Tensions over Taiwan have disrupted global chip supply. Instability in the Middle East has made energy prices volatile. Our inflation has a name: geopolitics. The next 12 months will define the next 50 years. 2025 is the year when the fate of Ukraine is sealed. Trump tests his real power on the world stage through tariffs. China plays its hand with rare earths. Europe must choose between survival or decline. No one talks about this because it's uncomfortable, because it's a truth they don't want to face. Most people would rather believe everything will be fine, even as the world fractures into pieces that can no longer be reconciled. More importantly, the world won't fix itself. A new geopolitical reality has emerged. Whether you like what I say or not is irrelevant. What matters is, will we adapt or fall behind? Will we understand the laws of historical transformation or pay the price in the years to come? Experts couldn't predict it. Nations couldn't adapt in time. But one thing is certain: the old order is dying, and a new world full of uncertainty, multipolarity, and violence is emerging. The question is, which side will you be on? Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed my perspective on this financial issue, please give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. If you find my channel valuable, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss my latest videos.